Hello, this is Brennan Wilmington of the Left Turn Network, and welcome back to another Lumen Stock Car Invitational race, season number 4, race number 21. And for the first time ever, the LSCI is going to the state of Ohio at the Mansfield Motorsports Park in Mansfield, Ohio, a track that's been a bit of a talking point as of late with Matt Tifft wanting to revive the track. Well, we're reviving it early here in LSCI, and it did have an amateur race last year that was pretty good. But this is the first time that the Cup drivers are taking to the 0.44 mile track, the shortest track on the schedule since South Boston was removed in the off season. South Boston, again, will still have an amateur series date. Kind of swapped places with Mansfield in that account. Joined alongside me for the first time is Nathan Stapleton, and he has his own NR series, the JBL Cup Series. I believe right now, you actually have a truck series going on as the Cup Series is in its off season. But Nathan, I'm glad to have you in the booth. Of course, a pretty well-known figure in NR, and this is your first LSCI race. What are you kind of expecting for this race here at Mansfield?
Well, first off, thanks for having me here at Mansfield, Ohio. Of course, me being born in Ohio, this is kind of ironic, and I've never seen a race at Mansfield, but based off of what I kind of saw earlier in testing, might see some typical short track bumping ones here, and I think this could be a very fun race, a very fast short track, and I'm excited of how everything goes down here in Mansfield.
Yeah, and a lot of interesting drivers starting up at the front. I mean, you look in that outside lane, you've got some pretty typical contenders like Jake Sidney, who has been outstanding this season as a rookie. Of course, you've got also Kevin DuPont, Tim Berry, the points leader by 100 points, JT Boyd. They're all pretty typical up here. But then you look on the inside and you see Karina Willis Calloway, who has not been bad by any means. I mean, she's been outperforming that 41 car for sure, but starting on pole is definitely something you don't expect from the 41. Vinny Scholes, Cooper Spur, Kate Summers, all down on that inside lane. And of course, you want to be on the inside lane on the start. And a lot of those drivers down on the inside have not won in a while. So, Nathan, what do you think the chances are that we get a bit of a different winner than we're accustomed to?
Well, I think this is a high chance, not being to this track before, sometimes that can attract some new drivers up to the front that we don't normally expect. And you got a lot of them trying to get the first win in a while up here. And I know a thing or two about that. Sometimes it can get a little bit more aggressive when you want the first win. So we got to see what ends up happening and see if we see a new one on the season as of late, or if someone that's dominating like the point leader can go back to victory lane.
Let's go over your starting lineup, and we have a very interesting pole sitter here. Karina Willis Calloway, like I pointed out, it has been a very long time since she has won a race. You have to go all the way back to season one's Daytona race, the seventh ever LSCI race. I believe right now we're on something in the 80s in terms of how many races that we've run. Also, an interesting note, Karina Willis Calloway just got proposed to by her girlfriend and teammate Lulu Connie, so that's very exciting for them. And of course, winning the pole on top of that is very it just adds more icing on the cake. Maybe Karina can break the long winless drought here today. Alongside her is the 19 car of Jake Sidney, who has won 2 races this season, including the Lumen 500. His other win was at Evergreen, another short track, so definitely watch out for that 19 car here today. Row number 2, Vinny Scholes, one of 2 drivers who has been in every LSCI race and has yet to win. Alongside her is the 1 car of Kevin DuPont, our defending champion. Then it's row number 3, the 24 car of Cooper Spur, the single car owner driver. Alongside him is our points leader, Tim Berry, in the 11, who had quite a bit of an outing in qualifying. He blew an engine, then he got into an accident, but he still posted the 6th fastest time, and that's the reason why he's the pole sitter. Or not the pole sitter, why he's the points leader. He's not the pole sitter this time. Row number 4 is Holly Martin in the 6 car and the 77 of JT Boyd. Then we've got Kate Summers in the 92, winner at Milwaukee a few weeks ago. And then the 40 car of Adrian Wheeler. Tamarin Bellinger with a great qualifying run. Bellinger is last out of all the full-time drivers, so this was a great qualifying run for the 65. Alongside them is the 85 car of Charlie McCarron, the other driver that's been in every LSCI race and has yet to win, although she's definitely been close several times. You just got to think eventually she's got to break through and get that win. Jack Gino in the 81 hasn't won since Phoenix. You kind of expected him to maybe win a little bit more considering his teammates have won 5 races combined, but he's only got the one back at Phoenix. So he's kind of been the third wheel at this team, which is a bit surprising because I think a lot of people thought that our season 1 champion and still the top fives in a season record holder, despite that season only having 16 races, and despite Tim Berry being Tim Berry, would be the leader of that team, but he really hasn't been, although it's still been a pretty solid season for him. And then Joanna Clark in the 58, one of the surprise breakout stars this season. These short tracks are right in her wheelhouse. She got a win at Watkins Glen, a true upset, and she could definitely do some damage here in this race. Jacob Lopez in the 50, who has been on a tear as of late. He's definitely been the hottest driver in LCI over this end of the summer stretch. Alongside him is the 52 car of Ashley Blake. Billy Smith in the 88 alongside the 8 car of Darren Walker, who won at Iowa, another short track, although a very different one to this one. Then we've got the 55 car of Michael Harvin and the 5 of Alnita Kim, who has been lighting it up in the amateur series and is making her Cup Series debut. She tried to make the race at Kentucky and failed to, but she's made the race here today, and it'll be interesting to see what Alnita Kim will be able to do. The last race we ran was an amateur series race at Oregon where she passed Lance Holman in turn 4 on the final lap at Oregon. So, in fact, both of her amateur series wins have come on last lap passes. She has been phenomenal down there. Then it's the 2 car of Amani Huandayo, another driver who is making her series debut. And she is also an amateur series driver that's been doing pretty good this season. No wins for her yet, but she has been very consistent, and she's been competing up there with some of the big dogs down there. So nice to see Amani Huandayo, also the first, I believe, the first South American driver to make a start in LSCI. She is from Peru, so there's another milestone achieved here. And then alongside her is the 99 of Akia Tajima. Then it's the 70 car of Andrew Kreider, who's actually DNQ'd 5 races in a row, or at least this 70 car has, but he made the race this time. We'll see if maybe he can cobble something together here because this season's been unraveling pretty quickly for Andrew Kreider. And then we got the 79 of Kobe Hollenbeck alongside him. 13 car, that's Damon Kirby alongside the 39 of Laken Herndon. Martin Swain, the Ohio native, not too many starts scheduled for this season, but this was one of them. He could not miss this event. The first LSCI race in Ohio, so that is why he is here. And alongside him is the 27 of Adrienne Fearson. The 66 car of Tyler Landry starting pretty deep in the field alongside the 45 of James Harvin. Corbin Taps, last week's winner at Oregon, also on a last lap pass, although that one was because of fuel mileage. He's going to be starting in the back today alongside the 18 of Zach Dearman, your Hoosier 500 winner at Indianapolis. Then it's the 29 of JB Chanot and the 3 of George Bryan. And rounding out the field today is the 57 car of Shauna Everett. We had 2 D&Qs here today. They were Kaleo Connie and Lori Jackson. We're going to have 137 laps here at Mansfield, I believe. Despite the high lap count, of course, this is a very short oval. I believe we're only going to have 1 pit stop. If we go green, if we have cautions, we might see some differing strategies, but we'll have to see how it all plays out here at Mansfield.
Drivers, start your engines!
And the field will fire their engines in turn number 2, and they will roll off the grid here at Mansfield. Nathan, who do you think is going to win the race today?
Well, with this being a short track, I am liking the driver starting out towards the front. Give me Vinny Schultz in the 62 in that 3rd place spot. I like that here today, and I think we will have a first timer in Mansfield, Ohio.
Yeah, Pacific Racing not had a great season, but they did get that win at Milwaukee with Kate Summers, so definitely feasible for her to take the win here today. But it's going to be Karina Willis Calloway and Jake Sidney leading them to the green flag. We are underway here at Mansfield. Lap 1 will be led by Karina Willis-Callaway in the 41 car. Vinny Scholl's going to take second away from Jake Sidney, and it's, as you can see, oh, be careful, Cooper
Oh
Spur's getting turned on
boy!
the backstretch, and that's going to be a caution. Will everybody miss him? Oh, almost
No!
everybody. JB Chanot,
Oh man.
and the caution is out on lap number 2. Karina Willis-Callaway wins the race back. And boy, that took absolutely no time at all. Cooper Spur already going around off of the bumper of Holly Martin and collecting the 29 of JB Chanot as well. And Cooper Spur was hoping maybe for a good run with that top 5 start, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen.
Very unfortunate right there. Typical short track racing, and surprised that we made 3 wide on lap 2 there, but that was the result, and looks like 3 wide is going to be very, very sketchy here today at Mansfield.
Yeah, Mansfield's pretty wide for a short track of its size, so you can make 3 wide work sometimes, but it is still very risky because it is still a short track. Everybody's going to come into the pits, and that is pretty typical. These guys do like coming into the pits under yellow to get some fresh tires on it. Tire wear not necessarily super important compared to some other short tracks like Iowa, but definitely can come to bite you if your tires are too worn. So we'll see how the race off pit road unfolds. Bit of a side swipe there in the pits. That should be nothing. Fuel only, it looks like.
Well, you mentioned Tiber
But
wasn't that bad, and looks like Vinny Shows is going to be stuck on pit road a little bit, just packing it in on fuel, maybe repairing the side swipe a little bit.
maybe I said it was going to be nothing, but it looked like it took a little bit longer on the 62, but she should be fine in terms of pace. That was really just a scratch, if anything. But first caution of the day comes out early on lap number 2. And we are going to show you the replay of what happened and then get back to the restart here at Mansfield. First caution of the race, it only took 2 laps for it to happen. There you see 3 wide gone wrong. Cooper Spur off the front bumper of Holly Martin. Looks like he came down into her, and everybody scrambles to try and avoid, and most of them do. Unfortunately, JB Chanot is going to come in at the last minute, too late on the braking there, and runs right into the back of Cooper Spur, as if he didn't have enough damage already. It looks like both cars are going to be able to continue, but yeah, that's a small 2-car incident there in turn number 3. Unfortunately, took out Cooper Spur, who had a great qualifying run, and it might have gone to waste here at Mansfield.
Full speed 3 wide, and the hook, and a hard hit into the inside wall for Cooper Spur. And unfortunately, the 29, JB Chanel, looked like he was going to be good, and then just decided, nah, I just want to run into the back of the 24 and give him more damage. So, very unfortunate wreck right there, very early on, but luckily it was only a 2-car incident here at Mansfield.
Welcome back here at Mansfield Motorsports Park, wrapping up our first caution of the race. Few cars came back in and topped off a second time, so we have a new top 5 here. Karina Willis-Callaway, Billy Smith, the 62 of Vinny Scholes, the 5 of Alnita Kim, and the 58 of Joanna Clark. Looks like the 52 is coming back in as well. That 52 is having some mechanical problems there. Pace car is going to peel off into the pit lane, and we are going to have a single file restart here on lap number 8. Maybe that will help them be a little bit cleaner here, as Karina Willis-Callaway will lead them back in the 41. And there she goes on the restart. Green flag back in the air here at Mansfield.
Great jump from the 41, posted and leader of basically every lap so far. But a bad restart from Billy Smith and that Gamebridge machine. Maybe a couple of restart violations for a couple of drivers.
It's a lot of cars
many
coming
drivers.
into the pits.
I don't know what's going on. That might have been a fuel issue or something. I don't know what's going on here early on. But crazy racing throughout the field, 3 wide again in the back part of the field.
Looks like they're going to make it through fine, although there were several issues for several different drivers there. I don't know what happened. I mean, restart violations are pretty typical here on short tracks just because of some of the cars in the back just restarting in the corners, but that was a lot more than we're used to. But we're still green. That's the most important part. Vinny Scholes is in second. It looks like she's going to try and take it from Billy Smith. Here comes
Oh
Joanna Clark
boy.
charging on the inside, taking it 3 wide. And she's going to get underneath the 62 of Vinny Scholes. What a pass from the 58.
Well, this is the short track, and that's a dive bomb bumping one type of thing, and that outside lane is absolutely not really want to be. No grip whatsoever. The 19 now making it 3 wide. Finish shows dropping like rock on the outside lane. And look at all these riders on the move on this inside. 3 wide
Bonnie
back behind
Hostiles
him
is making it 3
again.
wide.
Woohoo!
And it looks like Jacob Lopez got into the back of somebody. He's got some front end damage, but it doesn't seem to be affecting him that much. Oh man, 3 wide making me nervous. Again, it is wide enough to try it, but you gotta be careful with it. The 1 is coming back into the pits again. I have no idea what's going on. There was not this many pit lane in and out cars in any of the test races, so you know, NR just continues to throw curveballs, but it looks like it was just him that time. But Joanna Clark trying to reel in the 41 and the oh, we got more cars coming into the pits, but the other flip side to this is that the leaders are not going to have to deal with lap traffic much sooner than they anticipated. 24 is coming in probably for damage repair, but we're still racing each other for second up here. The 58 and the 19. Jake Sidney trying to get underneath Joanna Clark, and it looks like he's going to take the spot away from her.
Jake Sidney on the move in the 19 with a little bit of a bump of 1 on the 58. We gotta see if anyone can challenge. Posa of Callaway led every lap up to this point and is still doing a good job.
Only have 20 cars on the lead lap because there's just been so many cars with some sort of pit lane issue. I'm not sure what it is. I don't think it's pit looping because they do come back out onto the racetrack for quite a while. So I'm not, again, I'm not entirely sure what's going on there, but regardless, we're going to have a challenge for the lead here. Here comes Jake Sidney trying to pass the 41 of Karina Willis-Callaway, and there is our first lead change of the race. If he can complete the slide job, and it looks like he will. And this group of 3 cars look like they're definitely very fast here today. Alnita Kim in her first start driving for the number 5 team, Action Racing, being very impressive. We have not seen this 5 car this fast all season, but you get a good driver in that car and she can take you places, that's for sure.
Well, you know what they say to let's go places? Well, that is exactly what that 5 machine is doing so far with Kim, and you know,
the 19's actually not on the lead lap.
Oh, so now this is the battle for the lead.
Yeah, he was one of the cars that came in and out of the pits. I didn't even notice because he was up at the front earlier. But yeah, that car's not on the lead lap, so it is the 41, the 58, and the 5. That's a very interesting top 3. I mean, Joanna Clark has won a race this season, but like, this car is not very good, and she's definitely been outperforming that car. And then the 41 is another one of those that's been all 3 of these drivers definitely are outperforming their equipment, and that's definitely been the case all year for these 2 in particular. So it's very interesting to see them run up front. Jack Gino in 4th, Jacob Lopez, despite the damage on the front. We mentioned he's been the best driver for the last few weeks, and nothing is stopping him from getting into the top 5. Damage or no damage, he's going to put that 50 up towards the front.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not surprised of that damage on that 50 and still winning inside the top 5. Depending on how the damage is, it normally doesn't really affect it too bad on these short tracks. So great job from that team, and you know what? Great job from that 5. Might have a long one car here, 20 laps in, but no one has been able to beat Callaway here early on. Slides up a little bit. I'll watch out for the 81. Gino might battle for 3rd.
Your season 1 champion. He's been kind of all over the place since then. He struggled for 2 seasons at Diamond Motorsports, went to Hudson Motorsports, and immediately the results started getting better, but still only 1 win this year for the 81. And again, we're dealing with lap traffic, and that's really the big thing about these really short tracks. That's the main thing that is very different about Mansfield compared to even other short tracks, is that lap traffic is going to be a big deal, and how you navigate it is going to dictate how high you end up finishing, or if you can keep the lead, or if you can run down the leader, or any of that stuff. It's really going to be those lap cars that are going to decide things. There aren't too many up ahead right now, but as we get later in the race, they will be more and more of a problem for our leaders. And that 58 of Joanna Clark is closing in on the back of Karina Willis-Callaway, mounting a charge here. And these two are going to battle for the lead.
We gotta see of what the 58 can do on the 41. 41 slides up 58 to the inside, side by side. On lap 31, gonna try and pump one until we turn number one. Short track racing here at Mansfield.
Joanna Clark's going to take the lead away from Karina Willis-Callaway after delivering a little bit of a tap in turn one there. We'll see if Karina can get the lead back from the 58 of Joanna Clark, who has been outstanding in these last few races. Getting a second win for Diamond Motorsports in that 58 car would be unprecedented. But, you know, Joanna Clark has been doing some incredible stuff here this season. Alnita Kim has kept this in the top three, but this 50 car, despite the front end damage, I mean, damage to the front end is not going to matter as much on a short track as it is anywhere else. But still, regardless of the fact, he is charging. He's caught these top four, and he's going to challenge Jack Gino for fourth here soon. So we might have to watch out for Jacob Lopez as this run goes on, as we get later into it, as he might be passing some cars. He's going to try and pass the 81 here in turn 3.
Outside, not really want to be in that 50 machine. I don't know if the damage is helping, or if he took tires or what, but that 50 McDonald's machine is absolutely flying, and Lopez up to the 4th place spot now, early on. And I will say, we're not even to the point of halfway, we're not even 100 laps to go. We still got 101 laps to go here. This one's still plenty of time here on this 4,000 mile short track.
George Bryan in 6th, JT Boyd, Billy Smith, Adrienne Pearson is in the top 10, and it has been a very bad season for Adrienne Pearson. She impressed in some part-time efforts last season, got a full-time ride for NH Motorsports, and it has been a disaster for her. Only one top 10 on the year. But here she is in 9th place, having a good run here, and her teammate JT Boyd only a couple of spots ahead of her, so NH Motorsports having a good run here today. Alnita Kim's going to try and get by the lap car, the wounded 24 of Cooper Spur, and he's just going to go right up the racetrack, and Kim is going to go through for 3rd. Alnita Kim has a chance to do something that has not been done very often, and that is win in your first start. I believe the only one that did that was Jacob Lopez, and he did that in the very first race, so does that really count? But other than that, I don't think we've seen anyone win in their first career start in the Cup Series. Alnita Kim has a chance to do something incredible in this 5 car if she can manage to pull it off.
So tell me there's a chance. Well, we still got 90-ish laps to go, and we still got a long way to go, and honestly, call me crazy, but this 50 of Lopez might have the speed to challenge 4 out of top 2. I don't know what that damage has done to that 50 machine, but he is flying, flipping the inside lane, and might have a challenge for 3rd place of Kim here very soon.
Yeah, this 50 car has been very fast over this run, and again, Jacob Lopez has been very fast. I believe he has 4 top 5 finishes in the last 5 races, and the one time where he didn't finish top 5, he crashed from the lead at Watkins Glen. So, and ironically, it was because he ran into the back of this 5 car, although it was Takamoto Aya, the road course ringer, in that car that week. So it's interesting to see these two racing for a top 3 spot right now, but surprisingly, though, in this stretch of good runs for Lopez, he hasn't won any of those races. This could be a great opportunity to do that and kind of just put a statement on trying to get 2nd place in the points. And speaking of points, I do want to see where Tim Berry is. It looks like he's in 20th, so he's still on the lead lap. But He's not having the greatest of runs, and I've kind of noticed he's actually got some damage on the left side, so he's gotten into it with someone. But I have noticed that short tracks definitely seem to be Tim Berry's weak spot compared to any other racetrack, so I'm not too terribly surprised to see him running bad. And here you go. We're going to see the lap traffic play a factor. Joanna Clark has caught the tail of the field.
And this is not just one lap car. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lap cars here. So all in the train, and even though Clark has a decent lead, almost 2 seconds, with this much lap traffic, that can go away fairly quickly, especially with the 50 on the charge. Maybe even take second away from the 41 here. I mean, let's see if how lap traffic really plays into a factor for our top of the week.
Yeah, he is closing in on Karina Willis-Callaway. These two are probably going to have a battle here soon. Joanna Clark was able to get past Shauna Everett and Adrian Wheeler with no issues. Now he comes up on the Ohio native Martin Swain and the 55 of Michael Harvin. And some of these cars are already a lap down. In fact, both of these that are right in front are already a lap down from the pit road shenanigans. So they'll be going 2 laps down. And you know that means they're going to race even harder, because if you're 1 lap down, it's hard to come back. But if you're 2 laps down, it's almost impossible. And these two are going side by side right in front of the leader, and that's surely going to hold her up at least a little bit. Not that much this lap, but definitely Joanna Clark maybe getting a bit frustrated with these 2 cars who are just not letting her by. But the thing is, every car that the 58 passes is also a car that the 41 and the 50 and the 5 are going to have to pass once they get there. So that's going to work to Joanna Clark's advantage as she gets by Michael Harvin here. And now these two are starting to catch up to the tail of the field. George Bryan has broken the top 5. And where is Jack Gino? I don't see him. There he is. He's fallen back to 7th, so that 81 car, definitely the handling going away for Jack Gino.
Yeah, maybe not a short run car for Jack Gino, and let's see how that all plays out. And for the 58, with all these lap traffic in the way, it's gone down slightly, but you did mention a really great point. Every car that Clark passes, that is going to be another car that Callaway and Lopez have to pass in trying to catch up to Clark, and they've not done a good job in doing so, as they're stuck behind the 57 of Everett here. And now it's back up to 1.8. Was 1.6, now back up to 1.8.
There is something that could happen, especially if we get a little bit thicker into the lap traffic and we get some faster cars getting lapped. We could get a lap car underneath the leader, and that would trap Joanna Clark up on the outside lane. Tim Berry still struggling with that 11 car, not having a good run here today, despite the high qualifying run. I mean, it's just been nothing but a struggle for this 11 car. Thankfully, he can afford that. He has a 107-point lead, but still a bit unusual for Tim Berry this season, as he is going to get put a lap down by the 58 of Joanna Clark. But again, once we get into some faster lap traffic, they could actually pass the 58 back and trap her on the outside, and then, you know, all the cars behind could end up following, and then all of a sudden, second place is right behind you, and that's something that we saw a lot at South Boston when we raced there. I like to compare this track to that one because they're similar length and a similar style of racing, but yeah, that is something to watch out for once we get further into this. But Joanna Clark has been doing a flawless job of getting by these lap cars. She's gotten by 5 of them so far, and the cars that are chasing her have gotten by none, and it looks like she might get by a 6th here as she's trying to move the 52 of Ashley Blake out of the way.
Clark is being aggressive here tonight. I'm loving it. Short track, racing, get the gloves out and move cars out of the way, and that's going to look out for Clark. And now have a 2+ second lead, and besides the 50, this might be the fastest car on the racetrack. I think for Lopez, if he can get past the 41, might have something for the 58, but like I said, not 18 that we expect here, but might be able to get run number 2 on the season. And possibly dominating fashion.
Yeah, she got an extension with Diamond Motorsports for the next 2 years, pretty much right after her win at Watkins Glen. She was the first driver re-signed in silly season. And she's proving why she earned that contract. I mean, this team, they've gone through the ringer. They have struggled ever since their excellent season one, and then they pretty much had to reset their entire program over this past off season, hire 2 rookies, kind of hoping that one of them would work out, and one of them has definitely worked out. Joanna Clark is proving that that stretch of races where she had 3 top 5s in a row was no fluke, and that she is here to stay in that 58 car, as she's now opened up to a 3-second lead, although there is still
Oh
one
boy.
wrench left in this race, and that is pit stops. We are approaching them. Although with all of the cars coming in and pitting, we should have a more spread out cycle than we're used to, as we see the 52 of Ashley Blake. This is what I was talking about. Some of these faster lap cars are going to fight a little bit harder with the 58 car, and she's actually going to get back past Joanna Clark. Jacob Lopez has passed for second, and it looks like they've dispatched one of the lap cars, the 57. So we'll see if Jacob Lopez is a little bit better at getting by the lap traffic. He's coming up on his teammate, Adrian Wheeler, and it looks like he's going to get past Wheeler as well. So maybe this 50 a little bit better at passing the lap cars than the 41. And the 58
Oh
is starting
boy.
to kind of lose it here at the end of the run. We'll see if Joanna Clark's going to be able to hold on to it here.
In a couple of laps, it went from 3 seconds down to 2 seconds. I think it's combination. Oh my goodness, that 50 machine McDonald's is absolutely loving it. Here in second place, absolutely flying good. This car with that damage is getting through the lap traffic. Fantastic, and the 58 keeps on getting
58
played
is
on the
struggling now.
outside lane.
Again, I pointed out this might happen. Look at her, way wide in turn number 2. Michael Harmon's going to get back past her. Tim Berry and Martin Swain are now all that sits between first and second. And all of a sudden, this turned from a runaway to a possible choke here real quick. But it looks like the 58... Oh, no, she's not. I thought she was going to come into the pits there. But that's not what happened. We should be seeing them pit here around lap 75, or at least the first few. But since they did all come in under the yellow, it might be a little bit, it might be a few laps later. This 41 car is, yep,
Oh,
here
here
we
we
go.
go.
Oh, very slow pit entry for the 41 and 77. Trying to figure out which one of them goes in first, but there you go. Pit cycle starting now. We're going to have to wait to see when Joanna Clark comes in. And it looks like it will be this lap for the 58. Jacob Lopez will join her, as will George Bryan. I think all of the leaders coming in, although I don't see the 5 in. I think she might have came in last lap. But here we go. This is the money stop. They can make it to the end from here. And we're going to watch this 58 cars pit crew here, see if they can get out ahead of the 50 of Lopez. Something that might happen with Lopez is, what if they try to repair that damage, and that could take up a lot of time for the 50 car.
If I was the crew chief on the 50, I would not mess with the damage, because clearly that is not affecting them here in this one. But we gotta see of how it all goes down. Everyone is lapped down besides the 19.
Oh, they're fixing the damage.
And
Oh wait,
they
no,
are
they're not.
fixing the
No, they're not.
damage.
He's coming out. That was just a slow. That was just a slow back of the pit stop there. Jack Gino is actually going to get past him. And there's Joanna Clark leaving the pits. Caution is out.
Oh, we're on the caution.
During the pit cycle, oh my goodness. I don't know what the yellow is for, but timing and scoring. Jake Sidney might have had something to do with it, but timing and scoring is actually scoring as the leader right now. I think he's coming in under yellow as the leader right now, but we've got a lot to sort out here under yellow. Charlie McCarron might end up as the leader here. '19 completes his pit stop, and he's being forced to wait here. I don't know what he's doing, but I think, yep, here comes everyone else. I think they're, a bit of confusion on whether the 50's on the lead lap or not, and I guess they've decided he's not.
It's gonna take a bit to sort everything out, I think.
Yeah, I was a bit.
Unfortunately, that happened under the 25 pit stops.
Yeah, I was a bit worried that we might get the pit cycle caution, and that happened here. But I believe your leader will probably be Jake Sidney. And we're going to have a lot of cars on the tail end of the lead lap that are going to end up getting waved around. So we're going to get to that as soon as possible here. We're going to show you what happened to bring out the yellow in the first place, and then we'll get you back to the restart here at Mansfield. Well, the second caution of the race happens during pit cycles, and it's JB Chanot again running into drivers. This time, she runs into Jake Sidney, who was leading at the time, and gives him a big scrape on the side of the car. And that brought out the yellow. She went around just a little bit, and it was just enough to trigger a caution. And that is going to leave a big mess in her wake, as we have several cars that need to be waved around, and just a lot of chaos from pit cycle yellows. You never want to see them just because of the just weird happenings that it brings. But yep, that was Chanot again. If she had just waited for Sydney to come into the pits, then everything would have been fine. But they collided, and I know pit lane entry and exit is a bit sketchy at this racetrack, but that was very avoidable on the part of the 29 car.
Well, this could have been avoided, but unfortunately, JB decided to run into the 19 on the merge point, and unfortunately, was just enough to trigger the yellow. And that was unfortunate for the 19, because was the race leader cycled out and was the last one to pit. And if that didn't happen, we could have been going for maybe the rest of the race, but gotta see what ends up happening with no more scheduled pit stops for these drivers here at Mansfield.
Welcome back here at Mansfield. I'm not sure what's going on. These guys did not wave around, and a lot of them are coming into the pits because they received penalties, and now we're wrecking. Caution's going to come back out, and that's a big crash. Oh
my
man.
Goodness.
And Jake Sidney, who was the leader at the time, is now on top of Charlie McCarron. This race has devolved into complete chaos.
Welcome to Ohio. It's typical Ohio sometimes.
Boy, if the Ohio jokes came true here today. Oh man.
And we have no idea on who on earth is going to be the race leader.
Timing and scoring shows that it's Joanna Clark, but Joanna Clark's all the way up here waiting for the pace car. The pace car will get through all of these cars. I'm not sure what happened. When I was waving everybody around, they just decided to not wave around and instead wait for the pace car to pass them, and then they just went. So this never happened in any of the test races. But the tracks just decided to brake during the actual event. And I'm not sure what the deal is, and that's taken out Jake Sidney, who had a very fast car and had a very lucky second chance, but unfortunately now he's probably going to be out of the race. And now the 8 is trying to get in line here, so there's the 19 in the pits. I believe we do have other cars out of the race. Charlie McCarron, not surprising that she is one of them. So how many cars do we have on the lead lap as of right now? I believe we have 13 lead lap cars. At least that's what the ticker's saying, although some of the cars that were supposed to wave around are now at the back of the field. So we'll have to wait for timing and scoring to update. Yeah, I believe we have 13 lead lap cars right now. Speaking of avoidable accidents from the previous incident, Vinny Scholes comes up into the 27. None of these cars were even supposed to be in front of the pack. They were supposed to wave around, and the leader, Jake Sidney, ends up getting held up by it. It looks like he's going to try and get past, but a second group comes in, and up on his side, Jake Sidney goes and rests on top of Charlie McCarron, Tim Barry, Shauna Everett, Darren Walker, Damon Kirby, all involved in that. I believe Billy Smith also got a piece of it. So that's just not a sight you want to see here on the short track. And again, that was very avoidable. But I don't know what happened with the track. They were waving just fine in the test races, and then all of a sudden this happens. So I guess we were due for a bit of scuff in these races. We haven't really had a whole lot of it this season, but that's just how it goes sometimes. You can plan for absolutely everything that you can think of, and then something that you never would have thought of comes up and shows up right when it's race time. But that's unfortunate for Jake Sidney, as he was the leader when that happened again. It seems like, I don't know. It just seems like they just did not want Jake Sidney to win here today, and that's going to take him out of the race. As well as probably a couple other cars too, because that was a major accident. Charlie McCarron, who was in a big accident at Oregon on the last lap, definitely did not want to see a car on top of her, but thankfully going a lot lower speed here at Mansfield, so she should be all right.
Well, Tim Bailey bailed his way into this wet and caused a second one, and there's an explosion of cars in turn 3, and not every day you see a car on top of another one. And unfortunately for him, at point leader, he kind of bailed his way in, and he made that wreck 10 times worse than what it needed to be. And welcome to short track racing here at Mansfield. And we are starting to get some chaos here tonight in this one.
Welcome back here at Mansfield. Lights went out on the pace car. Pace car will pull off. We're going to restart on lap number 89, somewhat normally, hopefully. Joanna Clark is your race leader. Darren Walker's up to second. George Bryan, Jack Gino, Alnita Kim are your top 5, and we have several lap down cars on the inside lane who will be fighting to get back on the lead lap. Adrian Wheeler appears to be leading them in 14th. So we've got 13 cars on the lead lap right now, and we're back to the restart. Hopefully this race can get itself together here at the end. Joanna Clark is on the gas, and we are back underway.
Great jump here, and we gotta watch out for this 3 wide. And it's gonna get very interesting with all these lap cars. You got only 13 cars on the lap, everyone else is at least 1 lap down.
Oh, second place is down. Darren Walker. And
he's not
Tyler
gonna be.
Landry.
Oh boy!
Oh, he might save it. They're making contact. They're gonna keep it together.
You got some short track beef between those two.
There was Akio Tajima in the 99 that got into the back of him. We just saw Darren Walker pit, so Joanna Clark now has a massive 2-second lead over the new second place driver, who I believe is Shauna Everett, who was, like we pointed out, was running below 30th before the cycle and has somehow ended up in second place.
The wonders of short track racing and things that surprisingly go the way, and we gotta see if this Pennzoil Ford has anything. Well, we see it goes wide in 1 and 2, though that's not gonna be good, as the 57 is gonna be under 5 from the 3 of George Bryan.
Yeah, George Bryan, who was creeping his way into the top 5 before... Oh, caution's back out again. Cameron Bellinger.
Oh, no.
And Kobe Hollenbeck. And possibly more. Kevin DuPont has damage, and we've got more trouble on the backstretch. Actually, that might just be leftover smoke from the previous incident.
A little bit of a stack up, not too bad, but tough break for everyone involved there. And that's
Kobe
unfortunate.
Hollenbeck and Cameron Bellinger have not been having very good seasons, especially not Bellinger, who has definitely been outshone by their teammate, Joanna Clark. But, yeah. And unfortunately for all these lap cars, none of them are going to get back on the lead lap, because none of them were able to get by Joanna. So we're still gonna have them on the inside on the next restart. But that one looked like it was a bit of a smaller incident. Thankfully, nothing crazy like we just saw on that previous restart. That one looked more typical of a short track incident, so at least we're back in kind of normal territory, it seems, Nathan.
We finally escaped the mysteries of the Upside Down here in Ohio, it's gonna be interesting of how it all plays out. And so far, it's been dominant from that 58 here in this one.
We've still got 40 laps to go.
Still plenty enough time for craziness to happen here.
Yeah, we're gonna show you what happened to bring out our, I think, third caution of the day, and
I
then
believe so.
the third or fourth, somewhere like that. But we're gonna get back to the restart here at Mansfield. Fourth caution of the day here, caused by more 3 wide. Cameron Bellinger in the 65 gets up into JT Boyd and Corbin Taps. Martin Swain also gets a piece of it, and Kevin DuPont as well. And then Kobe Hollenbeck with the finishing blow there, right into the front end of the 65 of Bellinger. That is going to take Cameron Bellinger out of the race. I believe Hollenbeck is still running, but severely wounded in the 79 car there. But that's a tough break for Cameron Bellinger, who was hoping to have a good run here today. The only full-time driver without a top 10, and it looks like it's going to stay that way out of Mansfield. So it's just been a very bad season for Cameron Bellinger, and it's going to get worse here today.
More 3 wide at Mansfield, and unfortunately, it's gonna severely take out the 65 of Bellinger and nowhere to go. Stuck on the outside lane for Hollenbeck. And that's just typical short track racing. When things happen very fast, you have nowhere to go very fast. So definitely both of those drivers involved, and more chaos happening here at Mansfield here tonight.
Welcome back here at Mansfield. We are wrapping up our third or fourth caution of the race here on lap number 98. We're going to have under 40 laps to go here on this restart. Joanna Clark still your leader. Shauna Everett in second. George Bryan third. Karina Willis-Callaway in fourth. And in fifth is Jack Gino. We have 11 cars on the lead lap, but several lap down cars wanting to get back on the lead lap on the inside lane. None of them were able to last time, but they're going to have another chance here. Shout out, by the way, to both Amani Huandayo and Alnita Kim, who are both in the top 10 in their first races. Great runs for both of them. Green flag is back in the air, and a lot better restart by the inside lane here. So some of these guys are going to have a chance to get their laps back, and this could possibly lead to a lead change as well.
Great jump from these lap cars, and we got a lot of shot for that 57. 57, 58, top 2. And the 58 is going to get down to the bottom, so that's not going to be good.
Oh,
The
maybe not, though.
57
Here comes
and,
Lincoln Herndon.
oh boy.
And they're battling for second. George Bryan's gotten underneath the 57. 58, shoving the 40 up the racetrack. She's stuck in the middle. This is some of the chaos that happens when you have a lot of lap cars around the leaders. She's still in the middle of 3 wide as Lincoln Herndon tries to pass her. There's nobody down on the inside that's really been able to take advantage of this. All our lead lap cars are still up on the outside lane, including Joanna Clark. But it looks like she might tuck in behind, but Adrian Wheeler's going to have something to say about that. He just moved the leader up the racetrack. Will anybody be able to get out of this lap car shenanigans? It looks like Karina Willis-Callaway's found the inside lane, and she's going to move into second.
That's how much these drivers are 1 or 2 laps down, 1 a lap back. Move to the race leader and dominant car of the night. We gotta see how this all plays out. 41 trying to close in for all these lap cars in between. And if this race stays green for the final 34 laps, it's gonna absolutely fly on by. The Callaway has to try and make the best much ground as possible, but that is not ideal.
That wasn't a good corner, but she kept the 24 behind. There's only 2 lap cars between herself and Joanna Clark, so she has still got a chance. And then you got another 2 lap cars until you get your third place driver, who is George Bryan. JT Boyd trying to make some moves on the inside. The caution is back out. Big incident in turn 3. That was a lot of smoke, and Jacob Lopez was one of them. I don't see any other damaged cars. It might have just been him. That's good news for Holly Martin, Michael Harvin, JB Chanot, Adrian Wheeler, and Laken Herndon. They're all back on the lead lap now.
Boy, oh boy. And now we gotta watch and see if Callaway has anything on our race leader here.
By the way, the 65 of Tamarin Bellinger retired after that previous yellow, and it looks like Jacob Lopez is out after this yellow. So that good run that Jacob Lopez had going, despite the front end damage, he received more of it there, and unfortunately, he's not going to be able to continue after that. I mean, I saw all that gray smoke in turn 3, and I just knew that that was a big one, and it was going to take out whoever was involved, and it looked like it was just the 50 of Lopez that was in it.
Yeah, normally gray smoke is not a good sign, and unfortunate for the 50 there was up one at one point, and now he's in the garage early on, late in this one here at Mansfield.
Yeah, we're going to have less than 30 laps to go when we get back going. This restart's going to be very interesting because, I mean, it's not going to really matter that there's only one car between them right now because they would have lined up on the outside anyway, but Karina Willis-Callaway did a very good job of getting through the lap cars on that restart. She's going to have another shot at it here. But we're going to show you what happened to Jacob Lopez, and then we're going to get back to the restart at Mansfield. Well, Jacob Lopez, the all-time wins leader, gets into it with Alnita Kim in her first Cup start. Looked like the 50 was the one that chopped the 5, though. Though it was a bit unclear who was quite at fault, and it was just hard hit into the inside wall. He already had damage on the front end, and, that made it a whole lot worse. You could see all the smoke coming out of that car, and that is almost certainly going to take him out of the race. That's unfortunate for him. He had a fast car here today, but he just didn't come out of all that chaos during the pit cycle in a good spot, and then that just made it worse. So Lopez, who's been one of the hottest drivers in the field as of late, definitely cooled off here today. That's going to cause his hot streak to come to a screeching halt.
Welcome to the Cup Series. Kim takes out Lopez and hard hit into the inside wall. One of the faster cars tonight of Jacob Lopez. And you can see all the smoke pouring out of that 50 machine. That's going to be a one-way ticket to the garage area, and that's unfortunate for one of the faster cars here tonight. But that's just how it goes sometimes on these short tracks here in this one.
Welcome back to Mansfield. The pace car will pull off of the track here. As I pointed out before, Jacob Lopez is now out of the race. We have 14 cars on the lead lap now. Several of the drivers on the inside managed to get their laps back. Joanna Clark still the points leader, or not the points leader, the race leader. She's led most of the laps here today, but Karina Willis-Callaway has been a worthy challenger. George Bryan, JT Boyd, Amani Hondayo round out the top 5. Again, Hondayo in her first career start. Very impressive from the 2-car. And the green flag is back in the air. We're back racing here at Mansfield. Bit of a better jump from the outside, but not enough to clear the 52.
Side by side, 52. Blake trying to get a lap back, and it looks like that's going to be the case. And it looks like the 41's going to get clear. Can he get to the inside? No, the lap car's going to move both the top 2 up the racetrack.
She had a chance to get down there in front of Cooper Spur, but she just washed up the racetrack. And here comes the train on the inside lane. Now Cooper Spur is going to wash up the racetrack in front of her. So Cooper Spur definitely not being a help for the 41. They're all going to go up the track, and that's exactly what Joanna Clark wants to see.
Watch out, a little bit 3 wide.
Yeah, 3 wide
More
here.
3
Darren
wide.
Walker, who was one of the lead lap cars at one point, but ended up hitting under green. Now trying to forge a path on the inside, side by side with the 41 car of Karina Willis-Callaway, who's desperately trying to find a gap down on the inside. Looks like she's going to have one here if she can take it, and she will. But there's still plenty of cars between herself and Joanna Clark. That was not the greatest of restarts by the 41. She was definitely hoping to get down to the inside a lot faster than that, and now there is 5 cars between the 58 and the 41.
We gotta see what this 4-1 can do, trying to
Three
get two of
wide.
them in one stone here. And the bad thing for the 4-1 is that this car's been a second to third place car, but it's not been a race challenging car ever since the 58 of Clark took the race lead. But we got 21 laps to go. Maybe, just maybe, Alposa has one last shot here in this one.
Adrian Wheeler, who was a lap down before that last caution, is in 5th now. I just wanted to point that out. He's challenging for 4th. He's going to take 4th from the 77 of Boyd. So this is an incredible rally from the 40 car. Joanna Clark is opening up a gap on those 3 lap cars, and then behind them is the 41. So chances are looking slim for the 41 to have another shot unless she gets another yellow, which, I mean, we've seen what's happened tonight. That's definitely not out of the realm of possibility, especially with most of the field still on the racetrack. 52 is looking like she'd get her lap back if the caution were to come out, but 58's hoping that doesn't happen. She's just hoping this thing finishes green.
If this race ends up being green to the end, I think it's looking good for Joanna Clark. But we gotta see here. It was 2/10 gained, and now it's 2/10 lost. So keeps on going back and forth between the top 2 here.
Karina Willis-Callaway going to try and get past Damon Kirby in the 13 here. She's got a nose underneath. And she is going to... Uh-oh. Oh, no. She's got a problem. The 41 has blown an engine. Can you believe that?
Well, the 41's not going to catch up to the race lead anymore. And that is going to have a huge gap from first to second, which is now going to be the number 3.
seconds.
George Bryan of 5+ second lead. And that's basically a third of a lap here.
Yeah, unless we get another yellow, I think that's race right there. George Bryan has about a dozen cars and 5 seconds between himself and the 58 of Joanna Clark. That is so unfortunate for Karina Willis-Callaway. She had a great run going. And I mean, you guys saw the freaking, the little text box at the start where it says the mechanical failures. We had 2 prior attempts where she had a mech failure, so I guess the game just did not want her to win today.
Yeah, the first 2 attempts was a tire from Goodyear, and this time it was the engine, unfortunately. But we gotta see what ends up happening for second, because we might not have a battle for the race lead, but
Adrian
we gotta
Wheeler,
watch out for second, as
Adrian Wheeler does have a
mentioned,
shot. He does have a shot
yeah,
at getting
was a lap
second
down
place.
at one point.
Yeah, this would be a great rally. I mean, I saw Caleb Rose do that once, so yeah, this is... Oh, look out!
Oh, no!
Well, there's the caution. Akia Tajima and Adrian Pearson into the wall.
This changes everything once again.
Yep. However, since this was inside of 10 laps to go, this will not be a double file restart. Oh, Zach Dearman just ran into the back of the 41 who rejoined the racetrack. Joanna Clark, I don't know where she's going, but you've got more chaos here. Tajima's going to be out of the race. He's got the black smoke of death coming out of his car. But Zach Dearman just did not brake in time, and that was another collision there under this caution. Ashley Blake's going to get back on the lead lap, so good news for her. The thing is, I don't think this caution actually changes things very much because, again, this is going to be a single file restart, and there are 4 lap cars. Not as many as I thought, but still, 4 lap cars. Make that 5 between Joanna Clark and George Bryan, so Clark's, I think, really going to have to mess up this restart, and Bryan's going to have a really good one in order for things to change up front, but there is a chance. There's about a 1% chance, I'd say, instead of 0, so we'll see what ends up happening. We're going to show you what happened to Tajima and Pearson. That is going to take Tajima out of the race. I believe the 27 is still going, though. Yeah, there she is, with significant damage on the 27, but still going. We're going to get you back to the final restart of the race here at Mansfield. Caution number 6 is caused by a hook off of turn 2, much like the last couple were. Adrian Fearson getting hooked, very reminiscent of what happened to her at Hillside. And just like Hillside, she comes back up the racetrack and she gets a Kia on the way back up. And that's going to take Tajima out of the race while the 27 is able to keep running. So I guess that's karmatic justice there for the 99 of Tajima. And Fearson's already been in an accident in this race, so it's been a rough go of it for the 27 all season, including in this race. But at least she's still going to keep going. That's more than we can say about Tajima. And yeah, that's going to set up a late race restart here at Mansfield, although it is single file, so there will be quite a few lap cars between first and second. So unless something crazy happens, I don't expect the leader, or the winner rather, to change. But this does give Brian a little bit of a chance to catch up to the 58 car.
Well, unfortunately, Fearson gets dumped by Tajima, and unfortunately, Tajima gets Karma, and it's gonna be done after that one. Fearson's gonna keep on going with some significant damage, but not gonna be the case for the 99. And unfortunately, Lumen, who is right here, is gonna run into the back of the 41 and just had an engine issue and just didn't know where the brake pedal was. So tough night continues as many close calls, and that's gonna
I
be
didn't
a
see
hit right
that.
there.
Brian
And
actually
oh
scraped
man,
the side of Zach Dearman as Dearman was trying to get it righted. So there was a couple more involved in that than I thought there was. But yeah, that was just not paying attention for the 18 car, and got a couple others in it too. Welcome back here at Mansfield. We're going to wrap up the race here in just a few laps. We're going to have 4 laps to go on this restart. Joanna Clark is out in front, and she's got 5 lap cars between herself and second place George Bryan. Unless she messes up the restart, I think she's got the win here. But you never know. Crazy things have happened in this race. We could have another one here today. But Joanna Clark has been the dominant car and is well on her way to her second career win and second win of the season. Green flag is back out. Good restart by the 58. And she's just got to make it 4 more laps around Mansfield.
and 4 laps is about a minute, so you don't have to wait too long to get to victory lane here tonight for the dominant car of the night. You gotta watch out for the 3 hatchery. I don't think so. Didn't get a good restart. I'm not gonna get there to the lap cars. It's been a very chaotic night for cycling, but one thing that stayed the same: this 58 has been the class of the field.
Absolutely. 2 laps to go for Joanna Clark, the rookie. She's just got to keep it clean. Got some shenanigans going on here. Damon Kirby's up the racetrack. That'll be one of the lap cars that George Bryan needs to pass, but I don't think he's going to get by all 4 of them within the next lap. White flag in the air. 1 lap to go for Joanna Clark. The first win for Clark was an upset, but I think we can all agree that the second win is a statement. Joanna Clark belongs here. And coming out of turn number 4, Clark's going to get her second win of the season. Joanna Clark, in dominating fashion, wins at Mansfield.
Dominating fashion indeed. I had to say that was at least a 100 lap dominating performance from that 58 car here tonight.
Absolutely. She was the class of the field. And again, you go to that win at Watkins Glen, she was running around 5th or 6th, and then the top 4 got into an incident and she won that race. Kind of got lucky to get up there, even though she was running well in that race. And so you kind of think, okay, well, that she needed some help to get that one, but she needed no help to get this win, even despite the pure chaos and insanity that happened in this race. She still managed to lead most of the laps here and absolutely wiped the field here at Mansfield. So this was definitely a well-deserved win for Joanna Clark. And Diamond Motorsports have for sure found their driver for the future. And it's just been incredible what Joanna Clark has been able to do here this season. Here you see your race results. 13 cars finish on the lead lap. 30 cars finished the race. Akia Tajima, Jacob Lopez, Tamarin Bellinger, Jake Sidney, and Charlie McCarron all out of the race. This actually makes things interesting in the Rookie of the Year battle because Jake Sidney has a significant lead on Clark, but he finished 34th and Clark won. So Clark's going to eat into that battle. Tim Berry, your points leader, finished 26th. I believe the second place driver in points is Corbin Taps right now. Actually, I think it's Tyler Landry. And Landry finished 15th. Taps finished 8th. So quite a few of those guys are going to gain on Tim Berry, although not by as much as they need to be. But regardless, gaining is gaining. And yeah, a lot of surprising drivers up here in the top 10 here. Kate Summers in 5th. Good run for her, the Milwaukee winner. Amani Huandayo and Dalnita Kim both get top 10s on debut. Big shout outs to both of those drivers. Incredible drives for them. And they, at least the 5 car, was definitely in the top 10 pretty much the whole time. The 2 car showed up after all the shenanigans and managed to stay up in the top 10 as well. But that was a great run for them. Andrew Kreider in 12th. This was a much needed good run for him. Again, having issues with DNQing. That 70 has missed 5 races in a row. And he made the race this time and he took advantage of it. He finished 12th. So definitely got to give a shout to the 70 car as well. But well, Nathan, there's a lot to unpack from this race. Could you maybe give us a rundown for that? And next week, thankfully, we're going to a lot less chaotic of a track. Talladega, not chaotic at all. But again, give us a rundown of what we saw here today and maybe give us a preview for Talladega next week.
Oh my goodness. Well, the short way of explaining it is that, Joanna Clark was the class of the field at Mansfield here tonight. But fantastic racing. Typical short track racing. Saw some bumping ones. Saw some dry jobs. Saw some contact. Some fantastic stuff. A little bit of shenanigans. A little bit of chaos in the middle. But once that got unsettled, it got good towards the end again. And then we just had some normal, typical short track wets. And it was a fun one here tonight at Mansfield in Ohio. And as far as Talladega, you say that it's gonna be less chaotic. I feel like that was a lot of sarcasm because we all know Talladega. If it wants to, it can be just like what tonight was here, and we gotta see how it all breaks down at the biggest speedway in real life.
Yeah, we're going from the shortest track straight to the biggest. So a big contrast of races there. And Talladega has had some fun moments. It hasn't had as much chaos as Daytona has, but it's definitely capable. So we're we're definitely looking forward to Talladega for our final super speedway race of the year. And then after that, we go to Michigan, and it's the same Michigan that AG uses. So that's gonna be a fun and chaotic race as well. So we've got a string of fun ones coming up here towards the end of the year. But one more congratulations to Joanna Clark and Diamond Motorsports on their second win of the season. I did not think I'd be saying that in the preseason, but they've turned it on. They've been very good. So especially as of late, definitely deserved, especially this win because Clark was dominant today. And again, I think Diamond Motorsports have found their driver for the future, and Clark is proving to be very talented indeed. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this race. And like I mentioned, next week we'll be at the Talladega Super Speedway, a fan favorite track for a lot, and also a track that a lot of people loathe, especially the drivers. But that's going to be a fun race regardless of what happens. Thank you to Nathan Stapleton for joining me in the booth. And on behalf of Nathan Stapleton, this is Brennan Wilmington of the Left Turn Network signing out. Here are your point standings after race number 21 of 28, officially 75% of the way through the season. They will be on your screen right now.